there kind of free form, and anybody can use, anybody can get to them in a lot of cases. But projects are a much more specific and planned process. Now, where people go wrong is that they oftentimes think projects have to take a week or 4 or 5 days, or they have to take months or whatever, and they don't think about it as, oh, a project could just be something that takes me a day, but it has 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 steps, whatever. So the first thing you want to do is in your own AutoTask, you want to go ahead to the application-wide shared features. So I'm in the admin area, so underneath this AutoTask menu, click on admin. They'll take you to the features and settings tab, and you go to application-wide, and you click downloads. Now you can get to this somewhere else, but you would actually have to create a project to get to it first. So in here, you'll see project phases and task import template. I recommend downloading that because it sounds like you have some of these things elsewhere that you might be able to get into an Excel or a CSV file. And if that's the case, you can get like a really nice head start on getting this stuff into AutoTask. So we have this template where you can put the phase name. Just think of the phase as a container to hold a series of tasks. So a common phase might be planning phase, deployment phase, wrap-up phase. Those are the kind of phases that you have. Then the start date and the end date of those, you may not know those 100%, doesn't matter. You can put 1/1/2015, 1/1/2015, and we'll figure it out at the end. What's the description of that? The task is the smaller element. That's the title and the list of things you need people to do there. Start date, end date, the description on that. How many hours you think it's going to take, the department, and the work type. Okay, so department, you could just be your engineering department. These are things you're going to get from AutoTask, and the work type, something you're going to get from AutoTask. Once you've filled this out, you can create the project that we saw right here, and I can then import from that CSV. Now, there's a lot of other features in the task that you need to get, but when people have this stuff in a third-party area, I often will say, okay, if you already have it somewhere, can you get it to a CSV or Excel? And 90% of the time, they're like, yeah, absolutely. That's actually where I already have it. So we use this to just get the project in, because it's going to build some of this structure that people tend to think, oh, it's so cumbersome. Because once I do this, so this is an Office 365 deployment that I actually got when we did a road tour with Microsoft. And I got this from them. I put it into that exact template, and then I uploaded it into here, and I added in, additional things, because not everything's in there. Like resources are not in there, and there's some other elements. But for the most part, that's going to get the base of the project in there. Once you do that, any project you build, you can save as a template, and you can just keep building it over and over and over again. And I would beg to say, and this is something a lot of people think is not true, that it is 1,000 times faster. Once you get a template built, I could assign out 100 different tasks to people in the time it would take me to fill out a full ticket. Because all I need to do is click Project from Template right here, and I could pick an Office 365 template, which I have in here, and every task I have there, I walk through this quick little thing. I put the company name, the information that I need in here. Let me do it real quick here just to show you. And I'm going to have the exact same thing all over again. For Blue Sky, all built out. As much as I had built out before, I'm going to have that same thing built out in here. And we have what we need. I'm going to say, go ahead and give me everything. I could just pick one part of this, or I can pick the entire schedule. So if you're only doing, 2 servers and 10 desktops, and you have those broken out, I can pick and choose as I need. Click next. I can take everything if I want, or nothing from that list. Now I have that Blue Sky. I can save on this one. And the same exact project that I just had, so I could fill in some more things if I need to. That same exact schedule we saw, now I've just created it for another customer. So it definitely takes time to set it up, and we have an Understanding Projects webinar that's coming on, I think, September 8th. It's a little early. It's at 9 because it's going to be given by our UK resource, but then there's another one a little bit later. But it is definitely the way you want to go for exactly what you're talking about. Jay, yes, I'd be willing to share this template. I'll send that template to you. Jay said, can you share that template? Absolutely, Jay. Happy to send it to you. What questions do you have on that, Brian? It is going to take some work, but I think the import spreadsheet is a tremendously helpful start when you already have those somewhere else, and then you can have everybody on the project team. That's if you trust everyone, okay? You only want to put people on there that you trust are not going to manipulate tasks and change stuff and things like that. And then they can see what's been done on the project. And there's even a dashboard for project members. I don't think I have it in here, but there's even dashboard tabs that we provide for you that will give you, how to manage these items.
Okay. What about what I would call modules within a project? So let's say that you set up, and maybe this is a project within a project, maybe modules is not necessarily the correct terminology, but let's say that I've got 20 steps for unboxing and setting up a new Dell server. And I want to identify those and be able to check those off. Maybe one technician, maybe two techs are working on that. Can you create those detailed project steps and then have that server project, kind of that project within a project or a module within a project, and reuse those pieces over and over again on multiple projects?
Absolutely, yeah. So what you would do is, so I have this pilot phase. I could have a sub-phase in here, or let's go and pretend that this is my deployment phase and I'm doing workstations. I could have a deployment phase, then I could have, as you see, this is a sub-phase. This prepare users is a sub-phase, because you can see it has a collapsible, that means it's a phase. So if it's collapsible, it's a phase. So I've got the deploy phase, then you could have a server sub-phase, a workstation sub-phase, and all the things you need to do. Now, there's two schools of thought here, and it's funny because I just had this conversation with somebody at my 6 o'clock session this morning. Some people will say, they're not going to put all their time on these. So what some people will do is they'll add a task that says deployment time tracking task. And they'll put all the time it took them to do these 6 things on one task, but when they're done with those 6 things, they'll just click on that deploy section. So I just clicked on the number 2 and then I deselected 2.7. I'll come up here and I'll just say complete those. I'm done with them. And it'll complete out all of those tasks so I can see what's done, and then my time will be on a different task here. So yes, you can, and then what I have is in my import, I can import from a template right in here. I have things called phase templates. Now they're no different than another template. It's not a special thing that I've created. It's just a template that only has like one little portion of a project. So if I want to import customer training here, this is a tiny little template. So you could literally have like a little server template, a little workstation template, and you could just keep importing it over and over again into an existing project. So if you have 4 servers and you want the same exact set of 6 or 10 tasks for that server, you just come in and import that 4 times. If you want to see server number 1, number 2, you just import it over and over again into that existing project, and you're using the same thing over and over again, not having to have to build those out. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to move on because I want to make sure we get to Patrick and Gary, but I'll try to come back around real quick for almost a speed round. But please make sure that you take note of underneath the online health live webinar and training calendar, understanding projects is exactly kind of what we're starting on here. The first one, as I said, is September 9th, or September 8th at 9 Eastern. These are Eastern time. And then September, where's my other understanding how to task projects? I thought there was another one. Here it is, September 24th at 11 a.m.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
You are welcome, sir. Okay. Let's see here. Patrick is next, and then Gary. Hi, Patrick. How are you? I'm good, thanks. Go ahead and get your question up here. Okay, that's fine. Go ahead. Patrick, you're very quiet. Can you speak up a little bit?
Is that better?
That's a little better. I also have an airplane flying over my house, a military airplane right now, so it's very, very loud.